The Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share of me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought also to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you also should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself and will glorify him at once. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and as I said to the Jewish leaders, so now I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You should also love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. The Gospel of the Lord. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You should also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. 2 verses, 3 thoughts. First, I give you a new commandment. Jesus isn't just teaching here. He is giving a commandment. He has been teaching love of neighbor and love of others and love for all God's creation for all the 3 years that he's been a traveling rabbi with his little band behind him. But many people don't seem to get it. Even some of the little traveling band of disciples that followed him around from place to place. So now Jesus is taking this teaching and making it a commandment. Now, I have not looked this word up in the Greek, but by using this word, I believe he's reinforcing what we call the greatest commandment, or what is it? He says to the man, you know the commandments. What are the 2 great commandments? Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. So he's putting more power in that love your neighbor as yourself by saying, love one another as I have loved you. And that's the second thought. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. Jesus is not talking about having a warm, touchy-feely sense of goodwill toward all humankind. He says, as I have loved you. And he says it on the night he knows he will be arrested and tried and sent to a painful death. Jesus is not looking for us to love each other when it's convenient for us. He wants that love to be 24/7, 365. On this night, he has, in the eyes of many, debased himself. He has performed the act of a slave, not a servant. As I said before, I don't think there's anything I can say. I said it a couple weeks ago with Mary of Bethany. I don't think there's anything I can say that can help you understand what a menial, subservient chore this was, reserved only for the least of the slaves. People were given water to wash their feet when they came to someone's house, but they washed their own feet. Occasionally, someone might get their feet washed. They were also sometimes given oil in a very upper-class household to anoint their feet, but they did it themselves. Caring for your feet was something you did for yourself, because feet went everywhere. Shoes were maybe sandals, and they were not tidy. So he says, 24/7, 365, love one another as I have loved you. And he knows that sometimes that will hurt. People may reject us. I have family members with whom I can only discuss the weather. And many of them do not discuss anything with me if they can avoid it, because I have taken stands for things they don't like. And I'm sure that some of you have had that same experience when you've said to someone, excuse me, but I don't participate in conversations where hate speech is used. And they're like, what? And then you just go. So they reject you. They might defame us. Well, she's snotty. He thinks he's better than everybody else. He's some high and mighty, I have to be, perfectly good all the time person. And you might even get arrested if you go to a protest. Back in the 60s and 70s, we went to protests. We tried to be careful not to get arrested, but it makes a bigger statement if you do get arrested. If you do something small, some civil disobedience that you will get arrested for, it makes a statement of what you're willing to do for whatever it is you believe in. Because if we need to choose to love each other by speaking out and taking action to protect people, even when we personally are not in danger or not being oppressed. I'm not being oppressed. I'm white, I'm a senior citizen, I'm probably middle class-ish, maybe these days the way they look, heading towards the slightly up of average on middle class. I don't have to worry if my Social Security check doesn't come, because Todd is still working. And there are people like that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to sit by quietly and watch Social Security be gutted, because I've worked in the social services industry, in the Medi-Cal field, and in the public assistance field to know that is all some people have. And it is a pittance. It's nothing compared to what most of us, even here, probably expect to be able to live on. So we have to stand up for that, even if it doesn't affect us personally. And finally, that last whole verse. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. This is how we know. I see people, I see whole churches that claim to follow Christ. I don't know who they're following, but it's not the Christ I read about in the Gospels. And I hardly even know how to have a conversation with them, and so sometimes I don't. But when they hurt people with their belief, I have to have that conversation. So people can show you by their actions that they love their neighbor, that they love you. You can show by your actions. And I was struck by this quote I came across some time ago, before the long record-breaking speech, from Senator Cory Booker. Don't speak to me about your religion. First, show it to me by how you treat other people. Don't tell me how much you love your God. Show me in how much you love all God's children. Don't preach to me your passion for your faith. Teach me through your compassion for your neighbors. In the end, I'm not as interested in what you have to tell me as I am in how you choose to live. Amen.